All right, so now we are going to actually solve a matrix. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to write it as a matrix. Okay, so we are going to work a matrix a column at a time. So we're going to work like get that column all done, and then we're going to go to the next column and then get that column all done, and then so we're going to work a column at a time. Remember, columns of a house are this way. So, and when you are working in your column, I prefer to always get my 1 first. So I'm going to get my 1 first and then my zeros in any order that I want. I'm going to march over to the next column, get my 1 first, and then my zeros, march over, get my 1 first, and then my zeros. Well, so I'm working on this column. Merry Christmas. The 1 is already done. So what we have to do is we need to get this a 0, and we need to remember that that is a 4x. So in order to make it a 0, we need to add a negative 4x. So where are we going to get a negative 4 from? We're going to say negative 4 times everything in row 1, and we're going to add it to row 2. So I'm going to multiply 1 times negative 4, which is negative 4, 2 times negative 4, which is negative 8, and negative 1 times negative 4, which is 4. And I put those numbers in parentheses. Now the numbers in parentheses never become a permanent part of the problem, so I have 1 and 2 and negative 1 stay in my problem. But then I take the number that's in the parentheses and I add it to 4, and that gives me 0. Negative 8 and negative 3 adds together and gives me negative 11. Positive 4 and negative 15 adds together and gives me negative 11. So column 1 is done. So then we move to the next column, and we always get our 1 first. Now, to be honest, there's a variety of ways to get 1s. There's some really creative ways to get a 1, but one surefire way that always gets a 1 is to any number divided by itself is 1. So I'm going to take row 2, and I'm going to divide it by negative 11. So my top row is going to stay 1, 2, negative 1. And then I'm going to take this row, 0 divided by negative 11 keeps my 0. Negative 11 divided by negative 11 is 1. And negative 11 divided by negative 11 is 1. So the only thing I have left now is to make that a 0. And then I'll be done with this problem. So we are going to, that says 2y. So I need to take everything in row 2, multiply it by negative 2, and add it up to row 1. So I'm going to multiply that by negative 2, I'm going to multiply that by negative 2, and I'm going to multiply that by negative 2. And now I'm going to add the numbers that are in parentheses up to row 1. So 0 plus 1 is 1, negative 2 plus 2 is 0, negative 2 and negative 1 is negative 3, and then the numbers in parentheses don't become a permanent part of the problem. So I still have 0, 1, 1. So that means we are done. X equals negative 3, y equals 1. Now, I'll be the first to admit that solving a 2x2 using augmented matrices is not perhaps the most efficient way. We've learned probably more efficient ways to solve a 2x2 than this. However, it's just good to start with a 2x2. It's much just kind of easier. And if you remember what I said in class, like the first few times you see this, it looks really weird. It usually takes 2, 3, 4, 5 problems before you really kind of feel like you've got the understanding. Some people really get matrices and get it super quick, but other people need to see it 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times before they kind of begin to understand what's going on. So this is problem number 1 done. Video number 2 done.